Alert in the Caribbean. 7 American warships, a nuclear submarine, and F-35 fighters are now positioned just a few kilometers off the Venezuelan coast. Meanwhile, the iconic A-10 Warthog is testing its legendary 30mm GAU-8 cannon in live-fire demonstrations that echo like warnings. Every single round fired by that rotary cannon isn't just noise. It's a clear message of military superiority shaking the very foundations of Maduro's regime. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down why this Cold War-era aircraft still terrifies modern enemies, how the U.S. is mobilizing its naval might in the region, and why this could mean the end of Nicolas Maduro's rule. Reality of September 2025. As you're watching this video, over 4,500 American troops are sailing the southern Caribbean waters, officially targeting drug cartels, but sending an unmistakable message to Nicolas Maduro. The situation escalated fast in recent weeks. Since August, when Trump doubled the reward for information on Maduro to $50 million, tensions hit levels not seen since the 2019 crisis. Venezuela responded by mobilizing troops in 5 border states and announcing military drills on Caribbean islands. It's a military chess game where every move matters. The backdrop of this escalation is even more complex than it looks. Maduro's contested re-election in July 2024, widely rejected by the international community, created a legitimacy vacuum Washington decided to exploit. Add to that U.S. intelligence reports on growing military cooperation between Venezuela, Russia, and China, including Russian military advisors in Venezuelan bases and Chinese surveillance systems installed at strategic coastal points. For Trump, who promised during his campaign to solve the Venezuelan situation once and for all, every new report about international drug trafficking and mass migration provides political cover for a tougher stance. The result is a spiral of actions and reactions that's turned the Caribbean into one of the hottest flashpoints on the planet. The trigger came in August 2025, when international outlets like Reuters and CNN reported, citing Pentagon sources, the deployment of a U.S. task force to the region. 3 guided missile destroyers, an amphibious squadron, and 2,200 Marines, a show of force that immediately put Caracas on high alert. Venezuela's response was instant. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino announced troop reinforcements in 5 northern states, while Maduro called up Bolivarian militias for drills. But what really pushed the crisis higher were the aerial incidents, Venezuelan military planes flying dangerously close to U.S. warships, prompting Trump to declare that if they put us in danger, they'll be shot down. The military power gap between the two countries is massive. According to the 2025 Global Firepower Ranking, the U.S. holds the world's top spot in military capability, while Venezuela sits in 50th place out of 145 countries. It's like comparing a battle tank to a bicycle. In the middle of this rising tension, a legend of military aviation reemerges, the A-10 Thunderbolt II, affectionately nicknamed the Warthog. This aircraft was literally built around a weapon, the GAU-8/A Avenger 30mm cannon. Imagine a weapon so powerful that engineers had to design an entire plane around it, not the other way around. The GAU-8 is a masterpiece of destructive engineering. With its 7 rotating barrels, this mechanical beast spits out 30mm rounds at a rate of up to 3,900 per minute. Each shell weighs about 280 grams and travels at 1,070 meters per second. The cannon's recoil force is 10,000 pounds of thrust, slightly more than each of the Warthog's 2 engines produce. The ammo itself is even scarier. PGU-14/B armor-piercing incendiary rounds pack depleted uranium penetrators that can slice through 69mm of armor at 500 meters. In simple terms, that means an A-10 can shred any main battle tank in service today. But the A-10's power goes way beyond the numbers. The GAU-8's distinctive sound has become a psychological trademark of battlefield terror. During operations in Afghanistan and Iraq, enemy fighters often surrendered the moment they heard that unmistakable buzz approaching. Recently, jaw-dropping test videos of the GAU-8 have been making the rounds on social media, showing the sheer devastation it can cause. In one test, the cannon completely destroyed an abandoned T-64 tank in seconds. 50 tons of armored steel turned into smoking scrap. Keeping this beast running is just as impressive as firing it. Every 36 months or 25,000 rounds, specialized U.S. Air Force technicians completely disassemble the GAU-8 for inspection and cleaning. The process is so complex that removable panels on the Warthog's nose and belly were specifically designed to make it possible. Paradoxically, even as the A-10 flexes its muscle in the Caribbean, its future remains uncertain. The U.S. Air Force is split between keeping this lethal relic or retiring it in favor of the F-35 Lightning II. It's a debate that goes beyond technology. It's about clashing military philosophies. F-35 advocates argue modern conflicts demand stealth and networking capability. The F-35 can't loiter over battlefields like the A-10, but its radar invisibility and advanced sensors let find and kill targets while staying alive. In high-air defense environments, like we've seen in Ukraine, non-stealthy planes like the A-10 simply wouldn't survive. On the flip side, veterans and close air support experts argue nothing replaces the physical presence and raw firepower of the Warthog. When troops on the ground need immediate cover, the A-10 can stick around for hours, something the F-35 can't do due to fuel limits and the need to preserve its stealth edge. Interestingly, recent events in Syria prove the A-10 is still relevant. In November and December 2024, American A-10s were used to protect U.S. forces, destroying vehicles, mortars, and AT-64 tank, showing that in low-air threat scenarios, the Warthog remains unbeatable. From Caracas' point of view, every U.S. show of force is seen as a direct provocation. Venezuela's Air Force has around 63 combat aircraft, including Russian Su-30 Mk-2S and American F-16s acquired before sanctions. Compared to America's 2,000-plus fighters, including hundreds of F-22s and F-35s, it's an overwhelming mismatch. Maduro responded to U.S. pressure the only way he knows: fiery rhetoric and internal mobilization. The U.S. government must abandon its violent regime change plan for Venezuela, he declared, urging Washington to ease tensions and avoid conflict. Venezuela's strategy seems to be turning every U.S. move into fuel for domestic propaganda. Caribbean island drills, militia call-ups, and fiery talk about battlefronts are all attempts to look defiant in the face of a military force 50 times stronger. The military reality is brutal. In a straight-up fight, Venezuela wouldn't last 48 hours against U.S. firepower. The numbers don't lie. While the U.S. spends $750 billion a year on defense, Venezuela can barely keep its tiny fleet of jets operational. The A-10's GAU-8 is just the tip of the iceberg. The U.S. currently has 281 A-10CS in active service, each capable of carrying 1,174 rounds of 30mm ammo, plus a mix of missiles and guided bombs. A single squadron of A-10s could wipe out Venezuela's entire armored force in hours. But maybe the scariest part is today's accuracy. The modern GAU-8 is insanely precise, able to land 80% of its shots inside a 12-meter circle from 1,220 meters away. That means selective, surgical destruction, the ability to take out exact targets without excessive collateral damage. The very presence of U.S. naval forces in the Caribbean is itself a logistics flex. Keeping 4,500 troops deployed far from home, with steady supplies of fuel, ammo, and spare parts, is something only a superpower can sustain. The real danger isn't a conventional war. It's the risk of miscalculation and unintended incidents. When military planes buzz warships in disputed waters, the margin for error shrinks dramatically. One nervous pilot, a comms breakdown, a misread of hostile intent, any of these could flip a routine drill into an international crisis. History is full of conflicts that started by accident and spiraled beyond anyone's control. The current U.S. political climate makes things even trickier. Trump, known for his aggressive rhetoric, has made it clear he won't hesitate to use force if necessary. His recent remark about shooting down dangerous Venezuelan planes shows America's patience has limits. For Venezuela, every move is about political survival at home. Maduro needs to look defiant to hold his base, but every escalation raises the risk of catastrophic consequences. Ironically, while the A-10 shows off its psychological relevance in the Caribbean, its institutional future is still up in the air. The U.S. Air Force plans to retire the entire A-10 fleet by 2029, replacing them with F-35s and advanced drones. It's a shift symbolizing the evolution of modern warfare. More and more A-10s are being shipped to museums, going from killing machines to historical displays. But events like the Venezuelan tensions and the fighting in Syria suggest it may be too soon to completely scrap this one-of-a-kind platform. The technical debate rages on. 5 reasons to retire the A-10 include vulnerability to modern air defenses, high upkeep costs for aging jets, limits in contested environments, redundancy with newer platforms, and the need to modernize the fleet. Still, defenders argue no modern platform offers the same blend of firepower, endurance, and psychological punch as the Warthog. It's a dilemma that mirrors bigger tensions between military tradition and technological innovation. To wrap this complex story, we're watching an asymmetric showdown where show of force replaces direct combat. The A-10's GAU-8 doesn't need to fire a single shot to fulfill its mission. Its very presence in the region speaks volumes about consequences. For Venezuela, every test is a reminder of its vulnerability. For the US, it's a diplomatic tool wrapped in steel and gunpowder. Between those two poles, entire populations hang in the balance, hoping reason wins out over rhetoric. Military tech keeps advancing. Drones, AI, hypersonic weapons. The future of war will look very different. But for now, the primal, gut-rattling roar of the GAU-8 still echoes as one of the most powerful voices in international dialogue. In the comments, we want your take. What's more effective in modern deterrence, the A-10 Warthog's raw firepower or the F-35's technological sophistication? And more importantly, how much do these shows of force really contribute to regional stability? If you want to dig deeper into the background of this ever-evolving story, subscribe and hit the bell. In the next video, we'll do a frame-by-frame technical breakdown of GAU-8 test footage, dissecting every detail of its ammo, range, and devastating effects. Share this content and help more people understand the geopolitical complexities shaping our world.